Hey guys, Aaron here, back in the garage again for another project. This time we're going to be changing the clutch on a 1997 base Boxster. It is not my car, it's a friend, Sam. He came over and we got another guy from the area, Mike, who's been a fan of the channel, and he came over to watch. So we're going to split this video into a couple of them. I think one of them is going to be removing the transmission, one of them is going to be actually doing the clutch. So you are watching the video for removing the transmission. If you need to go see the clutch afterwards, I'll put a link in the description or up here. You can go check that out. Thanks again to all my diamond donors for sponsoring the channel. If you guys are interested in that, hit me up. And here we go. All right, this is Sam. Sam, say hi.
How's it going?
He's the owner of this car that we'll be doing the work on, and Mike joined us as well to watch and assist. So here is our recipient of the new clutch. First thing we're gonna do is get it up on the lift. So if you guys do not have a lift and you're jacking up a jack stands, I read that the mission that we're gonna be removing is 17 inches tall, plus whatever jack and support you're using. So the guy that I saw a video of got his car up 23 inches on jack stands, and he had 3 inches of clearance to get it out. So if that is what you're doing, make sure you have your car high enough so that you can get this thing out. So we have the service manual here, and I also have the 101 projects book. I got links to these in all of my videos. They are always super helpful. So I've never seen a really detailed video on how to do this. There are some ones that show some parts, but hopefully after watching this, you're gonna see every step that it takes to do this. I did notice that in the manual, it talks about removing the 32 millimeter socket on your drive axle. But the other things that I've read say that you don't need to, well, they just don't mention that at all. They just talk about removing the axle from the transmission itself later on somewhere. Right here at this step. So I think we can just remove them from here and they will hang down out of the way enough to remove the transmission. So we're going to try to follow these books and follow some common sense and see if we can't do this. Like all of my videos, I've never done this before, but the channel's name is Help Me DIY. So I'm going to help Sam do it himself. So he's going to do the work, I'm going to film. Let's see what happens. All right, 19 millimeter socket. Before we lift the car, we're going to loosen the lugs and we're going to take our wheels off. All right, so the first step is to typically remove the plastic cover that is under here, but we don't have a plastic cover, so that's not gonna be a problem. And then we need to remove these diagonal braces here. There's one on each side, and I think they're 15 millimeter nuts. We'll go find out in a minute. But the one thing that I did forget is that when you raise these up, they're typically covered up by this. So if you're doing this from the beginning, loosen this one first. Remove that one before you lift your car up. All right, so step one, put the car down, get that 15 millimeter bolt out from right there because your jack will get in the way. All right, so these things just pull down off of the studs.
Slide on out.
So I always like to put all of my parts, I just kind of line them up in one area as I take them off so I can put them back on in reverse order with their hardware. So that way, if you have any parts left on your floor, you know something's wrong. All right, pull that guy. Yep. There's two 15 millimeter nuts up front, and then it's got some
Two 17s in the back. This should just come down. In a perfect world.
Yeah, it's much easier than mine so far. Mine's all warped and a huge pain to get off.
There we go.
And then you get to reduce your weight by getting rid of all the rocks. Okay, next they say to remove the sway bar. So here's our sway bar. Looks like we just have a couple bolts here and a bolt here on the link. All right, 13 millimeter confirmed up there.
It's gonna be a
That's
15.
probably a 15. And then on the other side of it, you can get a wrench on there to hold it. Mike's got your bolts for you.
Yeah, you hand me the bolt.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, sway bar is dropped.
All right, 17 millimeter to hold the outside and then 15 on the inside.
We might need to put some impact force on that. There we go. All about working smarter, not harder.
That's right. Get the correct tools out. One more side.
Yep. All right, here we go. Sway bars down.
Okay, next step they say to remove the exhaust. I've seen a lot of people removing the entire exhaust all the way back to where it bolts here. And the headers obviously don't need to come off, but most people unbolt it there and remove this whole thing as one piece. Looking at this, I don't know why we would need to remove the cats. I think we can just disconnect it from here and just remove the back part of it, because if we do remove the cats, then we have to remove the bumper to get up to the connector to get the oxygen sensors off. And we don't want to do that. So we're going to try to do it this way first. We'll see if that works. So another step that we should have done from the very beginning, just to let it have some time to soak in here, is this. Sam says these have come off within the last year though. So we have high confidence that it's going to come off and not be a total pain in the ass. All right, just a deep 15 millimeter socket on these. And then same thing on this side. And a 15 millimeter ratcheting wrench to this guy off. Okay. Squeaky. I got to oil those ones for you. This side is nice and tight. Let's get this angled up higher.
Might be able to go ahead and knock this one out.
One of those joints. This is the official Porsche tool right here.
Okay.
Ta-da!
He might come out all on his own, so. You see, if I destroy my cats in the process of this, it means that I can go catless.
That's right.
All right.
Always opportunities for upgrades. That's why we have nice hard floors. Okay, this thing is mounted on the back up here with two 13 millimeter bolts. So we just gotta.
We're gonna need a regular ratchet and extension because this guy cannot.
Ratchet, extension, All right, 13 millimeter deep socket with a little extension, and get right up there and remove those 2 nuts. All right, we removed those, so go ahead and pull this thing off. There we go. Donezo.
Yep.
All right, we're gonna remove this bar here. It's got this little heat shield attached to it, and that was a 15?
15. Not much pressure on it. All right.
Other piece removed. Add it to the pile. All right, and there's this bracket. This is what it was attached to, our exhaust. So I think we're gonna take this bracket off. This is when we slide our transmission back to get it out. Just wanna make sure we have clearance here. Just 3 to 13 millimeters, it looks like. I don't know for sure it has to come off, but just to give us clearance.
There we go.
All right, so that's what that thing looks like. Okay, next, I believe we're gonna disconnect the axles from the actual transmission here. And I think these are eTorx something or others, right? Oh no,
I think
just
they're
hex.
just regular hex.
It's just like regular hex. We'll figure out that. All right, so these are just 6 millimeter hex. And we're actually just using an Allen key here to get it started because my 6 millimeter sockets are a little thick for that boot, so we couldn't really get them in there very well, but as long as you're not in gear and your emergency brake is not on, you can just rotate this easily and just rotate each one to where you can get to it.
I might be able to slip the... Yeah. Yep, that's in. All right.
See, my sockets are kind of thick hitting the boot there, but I think we got it in there working. You do want to make sure that your bit is all the way seated down in there so that you don't strip it.
You might,
Does it need to come out all the way?
yeah, you might
Yeah.
just be able to loosen the rest of them up.
Yeah.
Next one.
All right. Okay, seated.
Trying to hold this rotor.
Yeah. There we go.
Just holding the rotor down for him.
Mike's over here putting penetrating oil on the other studs. Make life a little bit easier.
That's the easiest thing I could find to do.
Smart.
I'm just so not used to having a power bracket that... All right. Axles are free.
seen people talking about this, but I've never actually seen them video it. All right, so that's all it takes. That's what it looks like from the inside. And yeah, we don't have to remove the bolts. They're kind of held in there. And yeah, that should be far enough out of the way to get this transmission out of here. And this is what it looks like from this side.
Extension's probably gonna be best to use over here. Ah, coming in behind me. Right.
Mike on the ball.
Whoop. All right, we're gonna have to hand loosen these first.
Yeah, I'm gonna hand loose them again, probably. All right, same thing for this side. All right. So, this one looks nice and dirty. Ooh, gooey. Yeah, this one sealed and clean. Yeah. Well, what do you guys make of this? All right, we're flying through the instructions. We are now to disconnecting the backup lamp switch on the transmission. Okay, so that thing is just this little connector.
Just push in,
Push that in and
pull on out.
It came off the right.
And we'll pop it off with a clip. Maybe. There we go. Just get it out of the way. Okay. Holds this slave cylinder to the transmission.
113 millimeter bolt.
And from what I've heard, it's easier to remove the slave cylinder from the transmission rather than disconnecting the slave cylinder, as it reduces the necessity to bleed it later.
All right.
So, I'm gonna take a 13 mil, come up and find the bolt, feeling around, we are in the bolt hole. If you're on the ground, you're gonna be doing this by feel.
So yeah, there's the bolt and there's the slave cylinder right up there.
There we go, the bolt is out. And we just pull the slave out. Get it out of the way for safekeeping.
All right, so if you ever need to change the slave cylinder, this is it. Never seen one of these. All right. There she was. Okay, next we're actually going to drain the transmission fluid. This thing is a weird tool. I'll put a link to it in the description. I have a kit. It's a 16 millimeter, but it is a like safety one, I guess they call it, or security one, where it is hollow on the inside. Because if you look up here, there is a little nub in there. So you need it hollow for this to be able to fit in. And we're gonna disconnect this to drain it. I have a video on changing the transmission fluid for these things that I'll have to go back and look at. But you also wanna make sure that your fill hole opens so that you can put fluid back in it. Yeah, don't ever believe people if they ever say anything's a lifetime fluid. It's never a lifetime fluid.
Okay.
Mine was replaced at about 60,000.
Yeah, that's about right.
It's nice and crusty, which makes me think it's never been done. Oh, that looks nice and fresh, actually.
Okay, it says to remove the hydraulic line bracket from the transmission, if there is one, but we don't see any. So if you have something that might be that, remove it. Here is the 101 projects book picture, and it shows that these orange arrows here are the shifter cables, one here and one here, and you have to pry them out of their ball joints, and they recommend using small screwdrivers to pull them out. And it says to remove a small spring clip. So let's go under the car and see what it actually looks like down there. All right, from the back of the car, on the passenger side, in the US at least, these are the things that we have to pop off. This one is coming to get popped off here, and this one gets popped off from here. And this one stays on, I'm gonna guess, because these are the cables coming in for the shifters.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
Oh, all right.
That was easy.
Is that easy? Just pops out of the ball joint.
And then we have a spring clamp up here, which we need.
Yeah, try some pliers to
Pliers,
squeeze that
yeah.
thing in. All right, so there's two little tabs on there. You just squeeze in. Put it on there.
Wow, I just bent it up. Or is this the one that pops out with a screwdriver? That slides under and comes out.
I thought that was the one you squeezed in and then just pulled the cable out.
It doesn't look like it, because this is what happened when I squeezed. The tab went and bent. So,
Oh, I was looking at the bottom one, but I thought they looked the same. You squeeze too hard, you just need a little bit of a squeeze and then it pops out. Now it pops out probably.
it doesn't want to.
So doesn't it just come out this way now?
Freedom. Okay.
Yeah, you say not to bend that a lot, but you can bend it a little bit, I guess.
Alright, I just don't know how to get out of the way. There we go. And the top one should do the same.
Yep, so you just gotta disconnect the ball joint on that one still.
Okay.
To damage that rubber bit, I guess.
Doesn't seem to be much to grab onto here.
Yeah.
Well, I just went into gear.
Two screwdrivers. Just twist.
Wanna give it a shot?
This one up here, right?
Yep. I've got a pinch hitter.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
First try.
Twist
You
it.
got a pro. You got a pro. Twisting was the key.
I think so. Okay, it's loose.
All right, So I think we can just push it out of that bracket.
Okay, another.
All right.
Gonna pull it back out of gear.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't matter when we take it off, I guess. All right, next step is to support the engine. So I just have this thing right here on the engine, near where your little cable is. And the reason for that is because our next step is to remove the mounting brackets right here. So this is the transmission mounting bracket on this side, and then there's one on this side. And these things are hydraulic over here. They're full of oil, so if you ever see drips on your floor, it might be that thing dripping. That's what happened to me once, and I changed my transmission mount. So we're gonna remove these, and once we do, it's obviously not gonna be supported anymore with those, so it's gonna want to sag down a little bit and put some stress on the engine. So we have this on the engine so that we have no issues there. If you are on the floor, ideally you have a jack and something under this as well to support it, because once you take it all off, you're gonna lower it and slide it out of the car. Our plan is these things are supposed to be like 100 pounds or less, so we are going to unbolt it and just have two people remove it instead of using something like that. We'll have this thing nearby in case we need it. We can set it on there and we'll wheel it around. So the next step after supporting your engine is to remove these brackets. So you remove it both from here and you remove it from the transmission as well. So on this side, we have two 13mm nuts that we're gonna remove over here. I think the bolts on this side of the bracket, Sam says, are 15mm. So, yeah. You can see the two bolts right there. So we're gonna go ahead and do that now.
At this point, I can use our
Milwaukee ratchets for the win.
And there we go. Box end for the win.
All right, one bolt.
Now this one's the one that's a little bit more difficult to access. So you don't want to come up underneath the transmission mount. I just make it around the hard line. Pull the bolt out of the top. Put the nut on for safekeeping. Now we're going to take a 15mm up against the transmission itself. Don't want any extensions for this. Move our slave cylinder out of the way. Take it back over the exhaust. Voila.
All right, that's what a transmission mount looks like, in case you've never seen one. Now they do say, oh, make sure don't take that one off, because if you do, it will bend this bracket. I've done it before, but it bent a little. I bent it back. Okay, same thing over here. And one more mount to come off. All right, our next step is to start unbolting this thing. And you can see that they labeled them A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. And all the bolts are different, so you have to make sure that you remember which one is which. So when we take them off, I have a little sheet over here. Oh God, you can't see that, but I have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. So we're gonna remove them all, and it tells you what each one is. And it, I think also has, well, this does not have the torque spec here, but we will tell you the torque specs when we put them back on. So here's my triple square set. We're gonna need another one of these. This is the M10, and I'll put a link to this in the description. Okay, coming up to our transmission, starting at the bottom left. It's supposed to be this. Let's see if it is. It's kind of crusty. Okay, so it is a triple square. Starts going in. The issue is there's no clearance. So we're gonna hope that hitting it with a bunch of brake cleaner is gonna clean it out so we can get it in further. All right, so this guy is our first major issue. So let's put this back up in here. Let's put some penetrating fluid on it first of all. Okay, so as you can see, when this is in there, there's no room to attach anything to it. But Mike, the genius that he is, noticed that the shaft of this thing up front, you could put a 10 millimeter on it, which, of course, this piece right here is almost blocking it. But let's see, yeah, I think we get a little grip. All right, I think it'll work. Let's try it then. All right, we're gonna try to put this in first. I don't know if there's enough circumference around there. I like the thought.
I need to get far enough to get a bite. It's times like this that make me want to save up my allowance and take it someplace.
You're a broke college student. You don't have the money for that. All right, plan A. A for execution, C minus for, A for effort, C minus for execution. Oh, no, it doesn't want to go back in.
You have to like line it up perfectly. Get in there and bite.
Come on. There.
All right. Well, this is why I make videos. People never add this stuff. Get it all the way seated in there.
Do you want the
And probably
fatter
Yes, please.
Try this one.
It's no screwdriver there, it's a screwdriver.
Will work like the correct tool.
all right. So
So if you, well, Ben will probably keep it from backing out like
I
that.
think that's about as much seating as we're gonna get in the hold.
Yeah, let me have
yeah, I would just have somebody hold this screwdriver there while
I'll
we're
hold
doing it.
the screwdriver.
So we're gonna hold that bit in there, and then we're gonna try to
Twist it.
lefty loosey. Or downy loosey in this case. It's gonna be fun to torque back to the right spec.
Oh,
Shaking the whole car, so it's
jack handle.
Yeah, stick over there.
Bastard.
Good catch.
all right, we're adding some length. Trying to add some length to our little wrench.
There you go.
couple more twists.
Ingenuity, folks. Ingenuity.
Well, this is fun.
Yeah. People just say, step 7, remove all 8 bolts. Yeah, it's real helpful.
Bolts how long? 10 centimeters?
8. That was the easy one to reach.
Voila.
Ta-da. All right, we'll put this on our sheet as A.
17.
B is right here, 17 millimeter. Hopefully this is our easiest one to get to. Whole transmission moved.
That's going to require a breaker bar.
See how much the transmission is moving.
Okay, this is B.
So there's the hole for B. So C would be this one up here. It looks like the same thing, maybe. End of this, we're gonna have one bolt holding this whole thing on at this rate.
Again.
Do you see it up there?
Yep. No, that ain't so bad to get to.
Let's go to here. Also a 17, I guess.
Yep. Well, it's not necessarily easy to get to, but
All right, super long extension. It's gonna go like over the top of the transmission.
exactly.
Just what made you think of that?
I knew there would be something ridiculous. Always is. All right, we've got a good bite on that.
Oh, nice. Right through your seats.
Almost grabbed the wrong thing.
That's a different video.
And it broke loose.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
At this point, I should be able to stick my hand up through there.
The very top one, or the one to the right?
Yeah, this is the very top one.
You might just leave that half, partially in, so it might hold the transmission in. What do you think?
Nah, I think we want to. Well, I mean, it's out of the bell housing.
Oh,
Here.
I don't see why we couldn't.
just leave it there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're going to bolt E. Actually, I don't think I need the chair for this one, but I do need the longer.
see it all the way up. These cables. These cables up. Yeah, that's it. Top one right there.
Just getting a little bit more length. Bolty. E.
Now, I did hear that some of these don't have the last bolt. G, I guess. Some don't have the G bolt, so do we want to see are there other bolts, or is this our last bolt?
I think this is our last bolt, yeah. I don't see the G bolt.
What about F and H?
Is there an H?
Well, it's on my
I drew it.
aluminum foil, so you have to have it.
Okay, so we have decided that this bolt that we are about to remove is F, right?
Yep.
We do not have a G bolt right there. Hold on a second. And under here, oops, where's H? Where'd it go?
Right here.
All right, so here's H. H is a stud with a nut on it, and my buddy said when reinstalling this, make sure your transmission is fully seated before you put that on, or else you're gonna crack off the corner of your block and have a very bad, sad day. All right, so after we take this one out, only a stud is holding this thing on?
I believe so.
Guess I should hold it. This kind of makes me nervous.
All the weight's on the input shaft. Alright.
H,
F.
F. I knew that. I was just checking.
I'm our transmission jack.
That is so sketchy.
Mommy.
There we go.
Oh shit. All right, it's starting to come down towards me. So, do you want to let Mike undo that one
Yeah.
whilst we hold? All right.
I do have muscles.
This
Alright.
stud right back here.
Getting ready to remove that last stud. This is my last will and testament. If anything happens.
Ready?
Is it out?
It's coming out. You got it out about an inch and a half, 2 inches.
Still held in up top.
I can't see. I can't imagine.
That top bolt, maybe?
Yeah, that's what I'm
Still a
thinking.
thread in it?
You got support on
Is
it?
that the large extension bar?
Okay, yeah. Weight capacity on this. Will it hold 200 pounds?
Yeah, it's about.
Okay. Please, kids, don't do this at home. I know better than this, but.
Lock these wheels in place.
Come on the other side, please.
I see where it's stuck. It's stuck on the bolt. It's getting stuck on. And you can put a little bit of pressure into it.
Okay.
Okay, now I need to. Okay, you can look at it real quick. Live dangerously.
My name is Dave, 57 Triumph TR3.
Okay, please. Probably not, actually. No. Okay, now put a little bit of weight. Now it feels right. It's not. Now it is.
Enjoy this.
1, 2, 3.
Here, come straight back and over. Okay, let's first your arms.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Where's the main stuff?
I just think it needs to come straight out.
It does.
Do we have?
It's free all around. Oh, shit, okay. Well. No, it's
Okay.
just got the
Back. Is it okay if I kiss you? My plan was four license.
That's exactly how you're supposed to do it.
And across here, so we can get a better. But no.
This transmission is tiny.
Yeah.
Okay, this top one was.
30. A, B, C, D.
Good, I have a slot for it.
Landed right here.
I sit, compress it, and raise it.
So I think what it was is that this thing was just barely
In the way a little bit?
Yeah, I just moved that
yeah.
tiny bit.
2003. Okay, so the clutch is 18 years old. 19 years old.
All right, before we throw it back in, we're just gonna give it a good cleaning here. What's that stuff you're using?
Purple Power, the best stuff you can use on your wheels, on any greasy substance, and everything. Yeah.
All right.
His name is Sloppy Mechanics. He just kind of throws stuff together. He doesn't care.
All right, so we're packing a little more grease in here whilst it's out. We do not have the dust cover for this side. So we're just gonna put it back like we found it. We don't have time to buy one. All right, before we put this thing back in, we are going to put the transmission fluid back in. So here is the fill plug, 17mm hex. I think our plan is we're just gonna stand it on its end and put in how much?
2.25 liters.
2.25 liters transmission fluid. Normally you have a video on filling this up when you're not removing the transmission. So normally you just fill it up until it starts draining out. Or I guess you could always fill it through the drain plug when you're when you have the thing out.
Oh hell, why? I don't think that's a bad idea, actually. Which means about
What was that?
5 more hours.
yeah.
Aaron told me it was 3 more hours for this job. In car talk, that's 5.
What is it? We're almost there. Look, it's almost finished.
It's
Not
doesn't-
together.
Doesn't look anything close. All right, guys, shut it. Hold on. Have fun.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Yep.
Did we ever torque the drain?
You might have. Also, doing this out of the car isn't easy. There we go.
Synthetic blend, you say?
Yep. 2 liters of synthetic, 250 of conventional because they ran out of synthetic.
Hey, Don't try this at home, kids. Liter number 1. We already did the second one. Now we're adding a little bit of this. Yeah, so if Sam's selling a 97 Boxster with a transmission in need of repair, this is why.
Some of the bottle that it came in, that it just drained into it.
Yep.
All right, so what happened here? Came out of,
Came out of this transmission vent up here.
oh,
Might have overfilled it just a little bit, but we're good
should
now.
be perfect now.
Well, when you put that in the car, where that vent is, it will be on top of the drain.
Yeah. All right, the ultimate in DIY hoists. Let's see. I need to move the barrel more forward. Now that I'm looking at this.
Straight.
Straight. All right, so first bolt. What are we gonna put in? What's the easiest one? Maybe like over
bolt
here?
A.
Start with A.
Yeah.
All right.
For bolt B, because bolt A was our special bolts.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Let's not mess with that one for a while. All right, bolt B, which goes in, yeah.
Into the.
Yep. All right, barrel, this guy. All right, jack him up a little bit. Oh yeah, we have Matt with us today, new guest on the channel. They did say to tie those things up out of the way.
I've just never seen anybody do it before.
We don't listen to a lot of things. That's probably good advice. Transmission will push him up out of the way.
Get on there. They do push in some. That one may need to be another person on that end pushing in.
I'll do the stepping. Feel the hold in position. Let me know when you're ready.
I'm clear.
I'm clear.
Everything clear in the front?
Clear.
Yep. Still clear.
Stop. Go down a little bit. I think the input shaft's touching something. Go down a little bit.
Trying.
All right, stop. I'm gonna go back a little. Okay, now go up. think we bottomed out
probably
this
tight.
time.
That's
Of
good.
course, it's 6 inches off.
So yeah.
Tributes trying to hold it in your hand.
Let me pull this bolt back.
And we do have a stud on this side as well,
Okay.
underneath the cross member.
Is it far enough away? I don't have a lot of room now.
All right, we're gonna need a third party in the back.
Ready?
Yep.
1, 2, 3. Aaron, do you have any blocks of wood?
Yeah.
Let's put some blocks of wood under it.
He's good. All right, legit transmission jack on order.
Push up some more, a little bit more into this. There you go.
Okay. Hold on, the stud's stuck. There we go. Okay, stud's in the hole. Is everything lining up? Not in the back.
Is it in gear?
Shit, it might be.
No, it needs to be in gear so you can turn the flanges to
Now it is.
get the shaft.
Hey, everybody, watch your fingers up there.
Okay. Okay.
I don't think the input shaft's going in.
Okay, where those rubber?
Well, that's because the axle's underneath it.
Please watch your fingers.
Okay.
So if we had another block of wood, we could probably stick another here and lower this down.
So I'm putting it on top of the rubber ones.
Yep. And then we can jack it back up. Now our arms can take a break. I'm gonna stand behind it and rock it back and forth, try to get the input shaft in it.
Iron.
I think that's as far as it goes. But somebody may need to turn the axle.
Okay.
Not the axle itself, but the what do you call it? Axle stub, the train axle. And that should, if it's in gear, it should rotate the input shaft enough to get into the clutch, which it doesn't want to do.
Right, it's hung up on this side. That's where they tell you to tie it up.
Yeah, I think the front needs to go a little bit higher because it feels like it's like on the teeth of the clutch, not engaging into the friction plate.
I mean, it's actually looking at the bolt iron. It's about ½ an inch high.
Oh, really? Well, I think it's because I can twist it this way, and it'll make up for that. But the input shaft itself is
Yeah, it's
stopping
not
it.
going in.
I hate to think we have to have more blocks to do it.
I got more. I have 2 more blocks.
Turn them sideways.
It won't go up any higher than it is now.
I'd say you lower it and
I got
turn
more,
the woods.
more blocks.
Okay, we'll put more blocks in it.
Next up there.
Is this out of the way?
Nope. Now it is.
Yep, you're clear.
Okay.
Oh, that felt like something.
Try it.
Yeah, it's,
We're gonna turn the train a little bit, just to.
the stud is working its way in.
I feel like it's attached to the.
Is yours the first to kick in, and then this is the second, or are they both all the time?
I
I
mean,
think it might be yours that. Bolts long enough, maybe to run it in there, not compress it, but enough to hold it. We can maybe get the jack out or something.
yeah, I mean, yeah, because it's resting on the stud right now.
And the stud is in the hole we're pulling.
Yeah.
Yeah, where is that stud? Let me see. Oh, yeah. Stud is in. All right, what was B? 17 line?
Not be, or
All right, comes the extension. Trying to get bolt B in.
Grabs. Get the other one. So that'll hold it and get this out of the way, and then you can kind
jiggle the
of. Is there another one over there?
What
again?
bolt is it that goes in?
B,
A, B, C, D,
E, bolt E,
E would be at the top.
then bolt F.
F. Was that the missing G one?
Nope, that goes into a hole.
All right.
It's turning okay. Is it going in?
Yep.
Oh, that's not a sound I want to hear.
What?
I hear cracking.
Oh,
We didn't.
Oh,
We don't need to tighten it down. We just snug it up so we can get the trans stuff, the
Yeah.
lift out of it from under.
Oh, is it going in or is it just pushing it out?
it's going in.
Oh, okay.
I still don't have engagement on the axis stones.
I mean, they're both turning over here, so.
Well, it should be attached to the input shaft.
Yeah.
It just would turn it to go into the clutch. If we don't have, it should stop turning because then we would be turning the engine.
I got
It
you.
feels engaged.
Well, one of these has to be a gear.
Well, right now the
Wait. No.
right now the way that the train should be on those 2 bolts, so we just put in. We get this out of the way, and we can get in the main hand.
Bring it down slow.
Yeah, just to make sure.
Is that shaft gonna
This drive shaft. It shouldn't come. The trans shouldn't come down at all.
Trans shouldn't move.
Coming down.
See, what it needs to be is rock back and forth for it to go into the input shaft to go in.
All right, held on by 2 bolts and a stud. Try to rock it in.
Okay, I don't think it's on this one. It's not on this boss. It's too low. It's actually clock. It needs to go clockwise.
Okay.
It's a rocky end. So it looks a lot further off on this side
Does it?
than it does on this side.
Okay.
And where's this top right bolt? Boss, the big boss thing gauges. That's what we wanted to rest on.
Okay.
Once we get it on that, it lines itself up, and then we know that the input shaft's the only thing stopping it from going
All
right.
right, that's gonna be bolt E then.
Yeah, just the boss. Yeah.
Yeah, these were easy.
Yeah, you can see the boss right there. The arrow is. So yeah, it's not on that yet.
Yeah. Did it feel like it was catching when you turned it in by hand?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It must just be at an
It's still easy.
easy place, yeah. Yeah, I feel some resistance. Push it in. There you go.
Don't go too tight, because we still need to be able to turn the input shaft.
Looks like it's seating in there now.
You hear it, you hear it now?
Yeah. It's still turning.
You can hear it like the input shaft. I can hear it rubbing. Now it stopped rubbing for some reason. Maybe engaged, I don't know. I hear it again. It caught.
Want me to rotate that shaft when you do it in?
There. Yep. I hear that.
It'll catch when it hits like the right clock. Actually, it's rubbing against this now. It might have been one of them in here.
Yeah, that's free. That's easy.
It shouldn't be that easy.
You mean I'm using the wrong terminology?
Yeah, it worked with the
All
mechanics.
right. Are we in neutral maybe?
You can always try pulling back. All right. I'm gonna pull back.
All right, clear.
Okay.
If you're in gear, both stubs should be turning in the same direction.
I think it's an open diff though, or limited slip diff.
So this side may, which tire has less tread?
It's
The passenger and driver, which one is less?
I don't.
That would tell you which one. That would tell you which one engages first.
The passenger, the driver's one's laying on top.
That's right.
He's turning it clockwise, and then the one on the passenger is turning anti-clockwise.
Yeah, it's open right now.
Yeah.
So the one on the passenger side is the one that kicks in first. So we turn the passenger one, that would turn the input shaft.
So turning the passenger one should turn the input shaft.
Okay, I'll stop.
Well, that.
Yeah. It's turning.
I don't think it's in gear.
Okay.
Where go?
Still don't think it's in gear.
Maybe the middle position.
At one point, both of them were turned in the same direction.
Wait. No.
So does this goes in, right?
Yeah.
And then what would auto in be? It's not doing anything now.
Be first, I think.
That feels like neutral. First, we'll try that. Still backwards.
It's all the way in.
It's up there, yeah.
Like bottom. Oh, it's all the way at that. How'd that happen? Were you lucky? Because it was like a quarter inch away before.
Yeah.
Now, when
It's
he
entirely seated.
when he
at this point.
screwed that in, it went all the way in. He screwed that bolt in, pulled it all the way in.
What is? This doesn't really. Oh yeah, okay, I see what it's doing.
I don't think it was that. It was never that close until even after he tightened it down, right? Because
No.
now my bolt's loose where it wasn't before.
Yeah, once he tightened that top one and it seated it, it was.
Okay.
Well,
Well, then
pretty
the
good.
open portion of the diff may be just so loose now that it's not even bothering turning the input shaft. There's no way it can get that tight without being seated
No.
properly.
Look, transaxles are weird with the integration of a transmission and a diff.
So we think we just throw the rest of the bolts in now.
Fuck it, why not? I mean, I know you have a sensor function.
Demonetized.
Demonetized.
Yeah, if the input shaft hit the wrong spot when you put this one in, you would have tore out the threads in the block. Those are snug. We can torque them later.
Yep. All right. Let's get some more bolts.
A bolt.
D.
Bolt B. A.
It should have been harder.
D is missing. I think you didn't we start with B? Yeah, we already put B in. You grabbed D. D's the one on top.
Okay.
I got it.
Then we're gonna be putting C in.
That's D. The one on your left hand is D.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because D is hard to get in there.
Top flipper.
Let's see.
This is bolt E. This
Well,
goes at the
started.
very top.
Very top.
Yeah. This one's a bitch to get to.
D. Least favorite.
D, just on the very.
Sort of bend the air box. Resonator out of the way.
He's got it.
He's the man.
Not even left-handed.
Just needed a tall guy without a camera so you could reach up there. Next.
Put our stud on and our triple square, our dreaded triple square. This one we're just gonna sort of, well, if I can find the transmission, that would be helpful.
Oh, and one tip about the nut back here, don't tighten it until the transmission is fully seated, or you can crack that part of the engine block off. So we'll just tighten that one last, just to be sure.
Oops. Lost forever.
All right, bolt A, I just put this thing back in by hand. So we're gonna do our special little contraption here. And I thought it didn't fit her in that last
Yeah,
time.
you're right, it didn't. All right.
We had to do it the hard way.
There we go.
I see your nice shiny tensioner down here. Snap-on didn't have a torque attachment for this particular setup.
And we're gonna call that torqued to spec. All right.
So that little one should have been 45 Newton meters. All the bigger ones were going to 85 Newton meters. All right, so 85 Newton meters for these guys.
And now we're gonna put our shifter cables back in. Try our very hardest not to move. There we go. That wasn't exactly intentional. That's in place. As is the boot. Okay. Shift cables are back on and in place.
All right, for the right side one, just stuck it up here, dropped that on top of here. Got my bolts started. This one was hard to start. I actually had to raise this up a little bit to lift it up just a little higher to get it started. That's in there fine now.
Getting our left one on. Except our clutch slave is in the way.
Sits up there. Slave is routed on top of that.
13 millimeter for the slave is on the ground.
Yep. Alright, so slave cylinder, spin it back in there, stick it in the hole.
That was easier.
6 millimeter. I think I might have put that one back.
Reattach our axles.
And there's been a little bit of, with a little bit of soapy water around the hole. If we have over here.
What's that point? Is this
Around the boot. Let it slip in.
That little easy.
Near the hole. It appears to be the hole.
Alright, so the hole where this is supposed to go into to hold our slave cylinder seems to be kind of jacked up, and this bolt is not going in there. So this is an M8 1.25. We're going to try to use a die and get the hole correct. Alright, now that the bolt should fit, let's try this one.
Much better.
Alright, if we can push that here. Take a bar.
Keep it in place. It's against there.
Alright, ta-da. Alright,
Let's do something easy. Let's reconnect our reverse backup switch. Push down and press in. You might hear a click, you might not. In this case, we didn't. But it's on there and it's gonna stay. There we go.
Yours doesn't have.
alright. It's easier with no cover to fit in there. We're gonna bolt these back up. All right, these M8s are 39 Newton meters. All right. Sounds like it's shifting. I hear lots of noises.
Wow, that feels fucking great.
All right, we're gonna start putting some brackets back on here. This one should be easy. All right, pop this guy back in place. Rebolt. All right, exhaust going back on to the top mounting bracket. I think she'll quickly become Team Matt. Oh, Matt's got it. These things back on our swivel.
It's because I have them installed upside down. Oh my! See that?
Oh, there is an upside down. Look
There we go. All right, so we're gonna put our underpan back on. Been freshly coated, quickly.
at that. All right, go ahead and put this underpan on first before you put this one on, because these use the same bolts. Studs and nuts. All right, apparently the clutch is working. First gear also works. Success. We have to cheers to sweet success and clean up. All right, we got the car back on the trailer. It's about 5 hours yesterday, 5 hours today, so a total of 10 hours to do this. That includes getting the car in here off the trailer, on the lift, off the lift, back on the trailer, cleaning up the garage. So hopefully this helped. If it did, just take one click of a button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys on the next video.